Will Michael Dunn take the stand? We should know tomorrow as testimony from the defense gets underway today as the state wraps up its case.
Based on the toxicology report submitted for Jordan Davis, were there any drugs or alcohol found in his system?
No, there was nothing found.
Were there any external wounds to the body of Jordan Davis?
Yes, there were.
Good evening, everyone. Testimony for the defense got underway today in the Michael Dunn murder trial.
A lot of key witnesses took the stand, including Jordan Davis's father, Ron Davis. Also, the doctor who performed the autopsy on Davis. We also got a chance to hear from some of Michael Dunn's relatives, including his son, Chris Dunn. Our coverage on the trial continues now outside the courthouse. Channel 4's Adrian Moore has been covering the trial and talking to a local defense attorney about today's events. Outside the Duval County Courthouse, Adrian's joining us live. Adrian?
Joy and Rob, we just got word earlier this evening that the defense only has about 1 or 2 other witnesses to get through, and we're hearing that this case could be wrapped up as early as tomorrow and in the hands of the jury. Of course, we're going to stay on top of that and bring you much more tomorrow. But there were about 100 witnesses on this list to get throughout this trial. We know that the state wrapped up today at noon, ended their case, rested their case after hearing from the medical examiner. They were only able to get through about a quarter of the witnesses on that 100-person list. Earlier today, the defense was able to get through more than a dozen, and perhaps one of the most compelling people to get up on the stand today was Ron Davis. And to tell us a little bit more about that, we have Channel 4's Tim Pulliam. You were inside the courtroom today. A very emotional day for Ron Davis.
Absolutely, Adrian, and it was very hard for him, but probably even more harder was the autopsy discussion, where they had to show all of that those graphic images. Some of the family had to leave, and then after that, of course, Ron Davis had to testify for the defense, and it was emotional.
He was shaken and on the edge of spilling over with emotion.
Of my devastation, I couldn't make out. I just knew that the boys were just so sorry that my son was killed, and they were trying to console me.
Jordan Davis's father, Ron, testifying about the pain of losing his son. Michael Dunn's defense attorney, Corey Stroller, called him to the stand, asking him to explain what happened after the shooting when the 3 other teens in the SUV visited his home.
They didn't talk about the facts surrounding his death. They talked about how sorry they were that my son was killed.
Ron Davis was one of a series of rapid-fire witnesses for the defense today. After him, Chris Dunn, Michael Dunn's son. The defendant was attending his wedding here in Orange Park that night. Chris Dunn said his father was in a good mood.
We had made plans to meet up the day after.
Jurors also heard from Michael Dunn's friends, who said he was a nice guy, a pilot, and someone they'd never expect to be caught up in a murder trial.
Never have I observed anything other than a very calm demeanor.
A gate gas station clerk who saw part of the shooting testified, and we watched surveillance video from inside where workers said they saw Michael Dunn with the gun. Prosecutors rested their case around 12 noon today. They called 27 witnesses total and ended with the medical examiner who worked on Jordan's body. She said he had been shot 3 times in the torso and thighs. And while Corey Stroller argued he was moving toward his client, the ME said Jordan was shot while sitting in the back seat of this SUV, leaning away from Dunn's car.
Did you find evidence of a gunshot hole through Jordan Davis's black tank top, states 172?
Yes, I did.
Talked to several legal analysts, and they all believe that Michael Dunn will have to testify on behalf of himself in order to prove self-defense.
A lot of people very curious if those 1 or 2 witnesses that we're expecting to hear from tomorrow will in fact be Michael Dunn. I know all eyes will be on the Duval County Courthouse. Tim, in sitting in the courtroom, I know that there's a lottery process for members of the general public to come in and watch these proceedings. You were able to catch up with a few of them. What were they able to tell you about what they're seeing and their impressions of the presentations from both sides?
Well, I was able to talk to 2 of those audience members, and they have been here for the last 4 days. And one in particular told me that he believes that the defense has done a good job of poking holes in this case, creating some reasonable doubt, saying that police probably poorly investigated this case. And then another audience member tells me that she has been looking at Michael Dunn's demeanor this entire time, and he seems kind of callous, sometimes joking with his attorney, so that may be a turnoff to some of the jurors, but we'll have to see, of course.
All right. Channel 4's Tim Pulliam, thank you so much for your insight and all of your hard work on this case. Tim, thank you very much.
Adrian.
Now